Welcome to Golden's Gone Wheelin' and our Spring Overland Adventure Series. In this series of videos, we experience the extremes found in California. From the highest peak in the contiguous United States, Mount Whitney at 14,505 feet, viewed from Alabama hills, to the lowest place in North America, Badwater Basin in Death Valley at 282 feet below sea level. We experienced some of the hottest temperatures for the month of May, and brave dangerous blizzard conditions only days later. We tackled the treacherous desert shelf roads, including Lippincott Pass. We visit ghost towns, lost cabins, and abandoned mines. We explore the sights and marvels, Inyo Wilderness, Death Valley, and Trona Pinnacles. So come along and enjoy the ride as we share our experience covering 775 miles of adventure over 9 days in some of California's most beautiful and unforgiving territory. Did I mention we have golden retrievers? So before we could even get started on the adventure, we had to meet up with Caleb from Popo Patty and a couple of others on Highway 50 to make the 5+ hour 300-mile journey down to Gray's Meadow, where we'll camp for the first night before we meet everyone at Manzanar Historic Site. Then we'll start the off-road adventure. This leg of the trip takes us through South Lake Tahoe, then through Hope Valley. Quick note, if you ever get the chance to visit Hope Valley in the fall, you'll be treated to some of the best fall-colored forest you will ever see. We then had to cross over Monitor Pass, which is one of the only passes over the Sierra Mountains that were open this time of year due to all the long winter snows we had and the late spring. Then it was the long drive down the 395. Hey, how's it going? So we are waking up this morning at a campsite that we pulled into last night at about 7:30. So I didn't really do any filming last night. We kind of pulled in and the winds were blowing at about 22 miles an hour last night. So we set up camp and kind of hunkered down a little bit, made a quick dinner because we knew the forecast was for the winds to die down at about 8 o'clock. And they did. They died down, and although it was really cold last night, I think we were down in the 40s. But as you can see, the mountains behind me, they've got some snow-capped peaks right above us. And so it was a bit chilly, but it wasn't too terrible. Today we'll drive into Independence. We'll go ahead and top off with gas before we start our adventure out into the Inyo Wilderness and Death Valley area. And then, yeah, it should be pretty good. So we're gonna do, we've got a rendezvous point today where we're gonna meet some more, probably mostly Broncos, because this is a Bronco group with Caleb. And by the way, he's got a YouTube channel called Popo Patty. If you're not aware of it, check it out. And I think we're gonna meet up with them and do some wheeling for a couple of days. Then they're all gonna go home, and we're gonna take off for probably another 4 or 5 days and see what we can find without getting ourselves into too much trouble. But yep, it should be good, and take you guys along for the ride. Here we go. All right, guys, getting ready to load up. Head up into the mountains, Inyo Wilderness, Death Valley area. We actually stopped at a spot here to meet up with everybody at Manzanar. If you look that up, you'll see it, but it's a ton of Broncos, and I'm the lone Jeep Wrangler out here today. But it should be pretty fucking awesome. We left Manzanar and made our way across the dusty valley to the mountains on the other side. Our first destination would be Reward Mine. Here you can see one of the Broncos driving right into the mine.
There's a fire ring up here. So the reward mine is actually really cool. Bronco-sized vehicles, Jeeps, those types of things can actually fit in the mine. You can drive all the way through it to a section where you can turn around and then drive back out. And it's actually a pretty cool experience if you can fit your rig in there.
Hey, so we took a quick stop at a mine here. It was pretty cool. Some people drove through it. We're too tall to fit into it, but now we're getting ready to take off, head to our lunch spot. Pretty good group of Broncos. Hi, sweetie. Hey.
So we took off from the mine, but on the way to our lunch stop, there was another place we wanted to see, known as Mazourka Peak. You actually drive through Mazourka Canyon and ascend up to the peak itself, and the views from there are pretty remarkable. The wind was howling up here, and man was it cold. I had to throw on my sweatshirt. The camera never shows how steep these things really are, but as you drive up some of these things, you're just staring at the sky. Nothing here was crazy technical, but you really had to pay attention, and everybody was a really skilled driver. Cool stop for lunch. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of us or something like that. Again, all Broncos. Just came off of a really cool four-wheel drive trail down from the summit that we were at earlier, and it was freaking amazing. Probably the best trail I've seen since we started this trip.
But everybody's just kind of parked and enjoying some lunch right now. Quick little break. Dogs are playing, kids are playing. Pretty freaking awesome. Cool views. Kaya, you good girl? What you got? Good puppies. Cooper, you good boy? Good boy, buddy. And that's the way we're heading next.
I kept wanting to put the drone up in the air to get more footage, but we were a little behind schedule, and this group was putting in a lot of miles from point to point and stop to stop. So we had some ground to make up here. Once we got over the crest to this section, the downhill portion was pretty steep and slippery. I know it doesn't look like it here on video, but if you watch closely, things get a little teetery, and Shane ahead of me actually gets on 3 wheels at some point.
somewhere. Yep. Hey, can you get rid of some of this dust, please? We're working on it right now.
We had just passed through Joshua Flat and down into the north end of Death Valley to Piper Road. We were now going to start the climb up to Gilbert Pass into Piper Mountain Wilderness between Chocolate Mountain and Sugarloaf Mountain, but first we had to make our way across this alluvial fan. So the location we originally intended to camp at just was too exposed and wasn't ideal for the number of people we had, the number of vehicles we had, and the number of tents we had. So we spread out through the canyon the night before, and we ended up camping with another couple, Joe and Ivy, great couple, and an amazing Bronco with portals on it. That was a really good night, but we ended up setting camp after dark, cooking dinner and crashing out as early as we could. And then we broke down camp first thing in the morning quickly and got right back on the trail. In fact, the first part of the trail was just a river crossing, and it was basically following water all the way up the canyon. On our way up, we stumbled across this old cabin. We couldn't resist. Everybody wanted to get out and take a look. It was pretty beat up. So now we're finally getting to elevations where we're running into snow on the trail. Everybody started up this section, which was actually a fork in the road, and this was the shortest path. Unfortunately, as we got up here a little further, Caleb, who was breaking trail, wasn't able to get through, and we all ended up having to turn around at this location. We decided to take the long way around, hoping there was a little less snow. This is crazy. We're at about almost 11,000 feet of elevation, and we're running into snow. And not the good kind of snow. It's very sugary, not a lot of traction, super slippery, and looks like We need to get over another 150 feet of elevation before we make it over the summit to the south-facing slopes where it should be clear. But
actually, the peak is 10,400 feet.
Oh, okay. So we got
300 feet of elevation to gain.
There you go. We got 300 feet of elevation to
Yeah.
gain. And then we should be over the top, but it looks like we might have a pretty steep section of snow coming up. We'll see how this goes. So as you can see by the tracks, Caleb took a couple shots at this. But as you guys know, if you follow the channel, we do a lot of snow wheeling, and I was there down to about 3 psi here. So I asked to take a stab at it too. Let's see, can we get through this?